Good afternoon. This is Zone India Radio. I'm Anubha Rohatgi and with me is Rupinder Kaur Travla with the Midday News. The headlines. Nation remembers the brave soldiers who made supreme sacrifice during 2001 Parliament attack. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says country will always be thankful to those who gave away their lives protecting our Parliament. Farmers' delegation from Haryana meets Agriculture Minister and extends support to the new farm laws. National COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 94.93%. Polling concludes for sixth phase of District Development Council elections in Jammu and Kashmir. And the US government gives nod to mass COVID-19 vaccination campaign from tomorrow. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these three simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. President Ram Nath Kovind, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla have paid tributes to the martyrs who made supreme sacrifice and thwarted a cowardice attack on Parliament in 2001. The President said that the nation gratefully remembers the brave martyrs who laid down their lives defending the Parliament. He said while commemorating the great sacrifice of those defenders of the temple of our democracy, we strengthen our resolve to defeat the forces of terror. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu paid tributes to the brave men who made supreme sacrifice defending the temple of democracy from the terrorist attack. He said, "This day reminds that terrorism is the biggest threat to democracy." Mr. Naidu said the world community should unite against countries who are supporting terrorism. The Prime Minister said that we will never forget the cowardly attack on our Parliament. He said we recall the valour and sacrifice of those who gave away their lives protecting our Parliament. Mr. Modi said India will always be thankful to them. The Lok Sabha Speaker said the devotion of security personnel and Parliament officials to duty, gallantry and valour will always inspire us and also strengthen our resolve to fight terrorism. Later at a tribute program at Parliament House premises, Vice President and Chairman Rajya Sabha M. Venkaiah Naidu, the Prime Minister, the Lok Sabha Speaker, Home Minister Amit Shah, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, Rajya Sabha Deputy Chairman Harivansh Narayan Singh, and Leader of the House in Rajya Sabha Thawar Chand Gehlot, Leader of Opposition in the Rajya Sabha Ghulam Nabi Azad, Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs Arjun Ram Meghwal, and several members of Parliament paid floral tributes to the martyrs. More in this report from our correspondent.
On this day in 2001, 5 heavily armed terrorists stormed the Parliament complex and opened fire indiscriminately. The attack lasted for about 30 minutes and all the 5 terrorists of Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed were neutralized outside the building itself. 2 persons from the Parliament Security Service of the Rajya Sabha, Jagdish Prasad Yadav and Matbar Singh Negi, 5 Delhi police personnel Nanak Chand, Rampal, Om Prakash, Bijender Singh and Ghansham, and a women constable of the Central Reserve Police Force, Kamlesh Kumari, laid down their lives while preventing entry of terrorists inside the building. A gardener of CPWD Deshraj also lost his life in the attack on the Temple of Democracy. A journalist, Vikram Vist, who sustained injuries, died later. About 100 members of Parliament were present in the building during the horrific incident. Anupam Mishra, AR News, Delhi.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that India has not only achieved its target against climate change as per the Paris Agreement 2015, but has also gone beyond it. Speaking at the Climate Ambition Summit 2020, co-hosted by the United Nations, the United Kingdom and France, the Prime Minister asserted that review of achievements should be done against the set targets in order to inspire the youth and forthcoming generations. Mr. Modi said India has increased its solar capacity from 2.63 gigawatt in 2014 to around 36 gigawatt in 2020.
That India is not only on track to achieve its Paris Agreement targets, but exceed them beyond expectations. We have reduced our emission intensity by 21% over 2005 levels. Our solar capacity has grown from 2.63 gigawatts in 2014 to 36 gigawatts in 2020. Our renewable energy capacity is the fourth largest in the world. It will reach 175 gigawatts before 2022, and we have more ambitious target now, 450 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity by 2030.
Referring to the two remarkable initiatives of International Solar Alliance and Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, the Prime Minister said that the Centennial India in 2047 will not only meet its own targets but will also exceed the expectations. The virtual summit witnessed world leaders coming together to make new commitments to tackle climate change and deliver on the Paris Agreement. The Climate Ambition Summit 2020 marks the 5th anniversary of the Paris Agreement, which was adopted on 12th of December 2015. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called on all countries to declare a climate emergency to spur action to avoid catastrophic global warming. He was speaking at a virtual summit on the 5th anniversary of the Paris Climate Agreement. Mr. Guterres criticized G20 member countries for spending 50% more of the pandemic recovery cash on fossil fuels compared to low-carbon energy. The UN Secretary General said that 38 countries have already declared a climate emergency, and he called on leaders worldwide to now do the same. More than 70 world leaders are participating in the virtual summit organized by UN, UK and France.
A delegation of farmers from Haryana met Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar in New Delhi and extended their support to the new farm laws. The delegation, led by Bharatiya Kisan Union MAN Haryana state leader Guni Prakash, yesterday submitted a letter of support to Mr. Tomar on the farm laws and demanded the government to continue with these legislations. The delegation also threatened to start protests if new farm laws are repealed. Mr. Guni Prakash said that the ongoing farmers' agitation is no longer a peasant movement. The BKU leaders sought to know why the previous government did not implement the recommendations of the Swaminathan Commission till 2014. This was the second group of farmers from Haryana that met Mr. Tomar and extended support to the farm laws. The first group had met the minister on December 7th. Talking to reporters after the meeting, Agriculture Minister said the farm leaders submitted a memorandum supporting the three farm laws. Mr. Tomar said they also shared their experience on how these laws are benefiting farmers.
हरियाणा के बहुत सारे किसान यूनियन के नेतागण और प्रगतिशील किसान मुझे मिलने के लिए आए। उन्होंने एक ज्ञापन देकर अपने हस्ताक्षर युक्त जो नए कानून आए उनका समर्थन किया और उन्होंने अपने अनुभव बताए कि किस प्रकार से नए कानूनों का फायदा किसानों को मिल रहा है और मिलना प्रारंभ हो गया है और वो इन कानूनों का समर्थन करते हैं।
The government has said that about 40,53,000 paddy farmers have been benefited during the ongoing Kharif marketing season with minimum support price MSP value of more than 70,000 crore rupees. The Agriculture Ministry said the government continues to procure Kharif crops at its minimum support price from farmers as per its existing MSP schemes. It said the procurement is continuing smoothly in Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Telangana, Uttarakhand, Tamil Nadu, Chandigarh, Jammu and Kashmir, Kerala, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and Bihar. Out of the total purchase of 372 lakh tons, more than 202 lakh tons has been purchased from Punjab, which is around 54.45% of the total procurement in the country.
In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, polling concluded for the 6th phase of District Development Council DDC elections a short while ago. Polling began at 7 in the morning. More from our correspondent.
The polling in all 31 district development constituencies in today's phase was largely peaceful. Amid severe cold and elaborate security arrangements, voters exercised their democratic rights with enthusiasm. Barring few pockets in South Kashmir, long queues of voters were seen in all other constituencies. In this phase, voting was held in 14 constituencies in Kashmir Valley and 17 in Jammu. Over 26% polling was recorded in first 4 hours. It further picked up as day progressed and temperature improved. So far, 190 DDC constituencies have recorded 50% polling in earlier 5 phases. Now, after remaining 2 phases on 16th and 19th of this month, the counting will be taken on 22nd December. Mushtaq Ahmed Tantre, AR News, Srinagar.
Home Minister Amit Shah has said that NDA has secured a comfortable majority in Assam Bodoland Territorial Council BTC election. In a tweet, Mr. Shah thanked people of Assam for their continued faith in Prime Minister Narendra Modi's resolve towards a developed Northeast. He congratulated BJP's ally UPPL, Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal, Hemant Biswa Sarma, Ranjit Kumar Das and BJP Assam unit. In the polls, no party was able to get majority in the 40-member council. Bodoland People's Front won 17 seats, while UPPL got 12 seats. BJP has won 9 seats. Congress and Independent managed to get 1 seat each. UPPL President Pramod Boro will be the new Chief Executive Member of the Bodoland Territorial Council. BJP, along with Gana Suraksha Parishad, will support the UPPL in the formation of the next council. Since the formation of BTC in 2003, it was governed by the Bodoland People's Front.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will start her pre-budget consultations with different stakeholder groups from tomorrow in New Delhi. The meetings will be held virtually. The Finance Ministry said Ms. Sitharaman will be holding her first pre-budget consultations with top industrialists tomorrow. Indian Space Research Organisation ISRO has scheduled the launch of communication satellite CMS-01 on board PSLV C-50 on December 17, 2020 at 15:41 hours from the Satish Dhawan Space Centre in Sriharikota. This will be the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle's 52nd mission. The CMS-01 satellite is envisaged to provide services in extended C-band of the frequency spectrum, covering Indian mainland, Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep Islands. This will be the 42nd communication satellite of India.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Nation remembers the brave soldiers who made supreme sacrifice during 2001 Parliament attack. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says country will always be thankful to those who gave away their lives protecting our Parliament. Farmers' delegation from Haryana meets Agriculture Minister and extends support to the new farm laws. National COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 94.93%. Polling concludes for 6th phase of District Development Council elections in Jammu and Kashmir. And the US government gives nod to mass COVID-19 vaccination campaign from tomorrow. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
The national COVID-19 recovery rate has reached 94.93%. The Health Ministry said in the last 24 hours, over 33,000 people have recovered from the disease. With this, the total recoveries have reached over 93,57,000. While 30,254 new infections reported in the last 24 hours have taken the country's total cases to 98,57,029. With 391 deaths in the last 24 hours, the death toll has reached 1,43,019. Total active cases are now at 3,56,546. India's active caseload has been steadily falling and presently stands at 3.62% of the total active cases. The country has registered more daily recoveries than the daily new cases during the past 24 hours. The country reported one of the lowest cases per million population in the world in the last 7 days. It is much lower than many countries of the Western Hemisphere. The gap between recovered cases and active cases is steadily increasing and it has crossed 90 lakhs today. Madhya Pradesh continues to register decline in COVID cases. Barring Bhopal, Indore, Gwalior and Jabalpur, the pace of COVID infection has slowed in all cities. More from our Bhopal correspondent.
Yesterday, 1,282 new cases were reported. Barring Bhopal, Indore, Gwalior and Jabalpur, the pace of infection has slowed in all cities, while there are 29 districts where less than 10 new patients were found. As per health bulletin from Health Department of the state, so far more than 206,000 patients have recovered. Out of these, 1,418 patients recovered yesterday. The active cases in the states at present present are less than 13,000. Rashid Ahmed, AIR News, Bhopal.
Gujarat has recorded 1,204 new cases during the last 24 hours. AIR Ahmedabad correspondent reports that the recovery rate further improves and has reached 92.21%.
The number of new cases in Gujarat is constantly decreasing. The number of total cases of COVID-19 detected so far in the state has reached up to 2,26,508. Out of this, 2,08,867 patients recovered. 1,338 patients recovered during the last 24 hours. More than 86,13,000 tests have been carried out in the state till date. Maximum 260 new cases reported from Ahmedabad, while Surat recorded 178 new cases. At present, total active cases in the state are 13,481, out of which 68 patients are on ventilator. 12 patients died yesterday, taking the total deaths due to COVID-19 up to 4,160. Yogesh Pandya, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
Telangana has reported 573 fresh COVID cases in the past 24 hours, and with this, the total cases in the state has gone up to over 2,77,000. The state conducted over 47,000 tests yesterday. The recovery rate too improved to 96.71%, with 609 more people recovering. This took the number of recovered people so far in the state to over 2,68,601. A total of 1,493 deaths have been reported so far, following 4 more persons succumbing during the past 24 hours. Currently, the state has over 7,000 active cases, out of which over 5,500 are in home isolation.
In Tripura, the number of active cases of COVID-19 is steadily declining and the recovery rate has further improved to 97.86%. As of today, the number of active cases have dropped to 329. 18 fresh cases were also recorded, while 25 have recovered. The death toll now stands at 373. According to the State Health Bulletin, so far 32,287 patients have been cured out of the total 33,015 positive cases recorded so far. Mizoram has recorded 11 new cases, while 16 patients have recovered in the past 24 hours. With this, the total number of positive cases of coronavirus rose to 4,035. According to the State Medical Bulletin, the recovery rate has also improved to 95.33%. So far, 3,836 infected people have been discharged from different COVID care centers, and the number of active cases presently stands at 192.
Union Minister of State for Health and Family Welfare, Ashwani Kumar Chaubey, said 7 lakh COVID-19 vaccine shots will be provided to Bihar in the first phase, while 1 crore vaccine doses will be provided to the state in the second phase. Reviewing the supply of vaccination in the state with health officials in Patna, Mr. Chaubey expressed satisfaction over preparation of supply and storage of vaccination in the state. Meanwhile, COVID-19 recovery rate in the state has improved to 97.30% in Bihar. The number of active cases in the state is continuously declining. Currently, 5,241 patients are undergoing treatment at various hospitals. 576 patients have recovered in the last 24 hours, while 596 new cases were reported. 2,36,186 patients have so far recovered from the infection in the state. The Bruhat Bengaluru Mahanagar Palike has launched a 3Ws campaign urging the citizens to follow the 3Ws. Wear your mask, wash your hands, and watch your distance to prevent the spread of COVID pandemic. The Healthy Cities Project Director, Dr. B.S. Triveni, told AIR News about the outreach activities planned as part of the 3Ws campaign.
So recently, the Technical Advisory Committee has given a report to the government saying we could have a second wave of COVID in the month of January and February. So we want to make sure people doesn't take this disease lightly. People follow 3Ws, which is wear a mask, wash your hands, and watch your distance. By doing all these three, people can prevent getting the COVID, and the risk of getting COVID will also be reduced. We have multiple programs organized under this. One is an audio visual through an LED screen will be played across Bangalore in different places, and then we are going to set up a bigger kiosk, for sanitizer kiosk for people to use it like in crowded places.
A massive COVID-19 vaccination campaign will begin in the USA tomorrow, US officials said, after the government gave the final go-ahead to the shots needed to end an outbreak that has killed nearly 300,000 Americans. General Gustav Perna of Operation Warp Speed, the Trump administration's vaccine development program, said truckloads of Pfizer's vaccine will be delivered today to nearly 150 distribution centers across the states. An additional 425 sites will get shipments on Tuesday and the remaining 66 on Wednesday.
We expect 145 sites across all the states to receive vaccine on Monday. Within the next 24 hours, they will begin moving vaccine from the Pfizer manufacturing facility to the UPS and FedEx hubs. And then it will go out to the 636 locations nationwide. I am absolutely 100% confident that we are going to distribute safely this precious commodity, this vaccine needed to defeat the enemy, COVID.
The announcement kicks off a massive logistical operation involving the federal and state governments, private companies and healthcare workers to quickly distribute limited vaccine supplies throughout the U.S. In our special series Year-Ender 2020, today we bring you a report on Atmanirbhar Bharat. COVID-19 pandemic has been the biggest story of the year, and India has seen a fight back against the disease under the dynamic leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Acting fast, a special economic and comprehensive package of 20 lakh crore rupees, equivalent to 10% of India's GDP, was launched by the Prime Minister on 12th May to address the concerns of the citizens.
ये आर्थिक पैकेज आत्मनिर्भर भारत अभियान की अहम कड़ी के तौर पर काम करेगा। साथियों, हाल में सरकार ने कोरोना संकट से जुड़ी जो आर्थिक घोषणाएं की थी, जो रिजर्व बैंक के फैसले थे और आज जिस आर्थिक पैकेज का ऐलान हो रहा है, उसे जोड़ दें तो ये करीब करीब 20 लाख करोड़ रुपए का है। ये पैकेज भारत की जीडीपी का करीब 10% है। इन सबके जरिए देश के विभिन्न वर्गों को, आर्थिक व्यवस्था की कड़ियों को 20 लाख करोड़ रुपए का संबल मिलेगा, सपोर्ट मिलेगा।
Financial analyst Siddharth outlines the measures taken by Prime Minister helped from the farmers to the street vendors to tide over the troubled times.
The government has announced the Atmanirbhar package in 3 different tranches, and the focus has been on helping out the agriculture sector as well as the small businesses and housing finance companies and NBFCs so that the entire economic cycle gets moving again and at a fast pace.
Our correspondent has more on this special story.
The shadow of the pandemic on the economy was coming to the fore, and the government was quick to act. Prime Minister gave the call for Atmanirbhar Bharat or self-reliant India on 12th May. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman laid down the details of the Atmanirbhar Bharat package. It provides for 3 lakh crore rupees collateral-free automatic loans for businesses, including MSMEs, and 45,000 crore rupees partial credit guarantee scheme for NBFCs. 30,000 crore rupees additional emergency working capital funding for farmers through NABARD was announced. Concessional credit boost to 2.5 crore farmers through Kisan credit cards in a special drive was also beneficial. Prime Minister Fasal Bima Yojana claimed payment of 6,400 crores came a moral booster for farmers. 10,000 crore rupees scheme for formalization of micro food enterprises promoted vision of Prime Minister's vocal for local with global outreach. 4,000 crore rupees have been earmarked for herbal cultivation of 10 lakh hectare in next 2 years. Emergency credit line guarantee scheme for MSMEs, businesses, mudra borrowers and individual loans for business purposes has been extended till March 31st next year. 21,000 crore of MSME dues have been paid in past 7 months since May 2020 by the central government agencies and CPSEs. Income tax relief has been given to real estate developers and home buyers. Additional outlay of 10,000 crore rupees was provided for PM Garib Kalyan Rozgar Yojana to provide rural employment to accelerate rural economy. A new scheme, Atmanirbhar Bharat Rozgar Yojana, has been launched to incentivize job creation during COVID-19 recovery. Focus has been on enhancing production, vocal for local, support to the needy, meeting requirements on our own with homegrown products. The impact of Prime Minister's Atmanirbhar Bharat, a self-sufficient policy, is being felt for making India a bigger and more important part of the global economy. Saubhagya Kaur, Air News, Delhi.
Mumbai police today arrested Republic TV network CEO Vikas Khanchandani in an alleged fake TRP case. The Republic TV network said the arrest of Khanchandani came just a day ahead of his anticipatory bail hearing. The network also said that it will move holiday bench to seek bail for its CEO Vikas Khanchandani. Further details are awaited.
The Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir has shown a record improvement in last 3 years in key maternal and child health indicators as per the latest report of the National Family Health Survey. The survey was conducted by the International Institute of Population Sciences, Mumbai. The report was released yesterday by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare for 22 states and union territories. As per the report, J&K has recorded 22 points decrease in neonatal mortality rate, a 16 points decrease in infant mortality rate, and 19 points decrease in under 5 mortality rate. The report also indicated a positive change towards the girl child in Jammu and Kashmir and recorded improvement in sex ratio at birth from 923 to 976 females per 1,000 males.
Indian Embassy in Beijing yesterday launched a movie series CinemaScope exclusively for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization SCO, in which more than 24 Indian films dubbed in Russian will be screened on a monthly basis. The event was jointly inaugurated by Indian Ambassador to China Vikram Misri and SCO Secretary General Vladimir Norov. Our Beijing correspondent reports that the event was attended by nearly 100 diplomats from SCO countries and neighboring countries who shared the fondness for Indian films and culture.
Now let us take a look at the weather today. The national capital will have very dense fog during the day. The minimum temperature was 11 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 23 degrees Celsius. In Mumbai, the sky will be generally cloudy with light rain or drizzle. The minimum temperature was 23 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 30. Chennai will have mainly clear sky. The temperature will hover between 22 and 30 degrees Celsius. Kolkata witnessed mist in the morning and is likely to have mainly clear sky later. The temperature will vary between 16 and 25 degrees Celsius. On to the north, Srinagar will witness mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. The minimum temperature recorded was 0 degrees Celsius while the maximum recorded will be around 11 degrees. In Jammu, the lower level of temperature was 10 degrees Celsius while the upper level will be around 20 degrees. The sky is likely to be mainly clear which may become partly cloudy towards evening or night. Leh in Ladakh witnessed partly cloudy sky becoming generally cloudy towards afternoon, evening or night. The minimum temperature dipped to minus 12 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 3 degrees. Gilgit will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. The temperature will hover between 2 and 10 degrees Celsius. In Muzaffarabad, the sky will be clear which may become partly cloudy towards evening or night. The temperature will hover between 3 and 12 degrees Celsius. In Dehradun, the temperature will hover between 8 and 23 degrees Celsius. The city will mainly witness mist. Chandigarh may witness partly cloudy sky. The minimum temperature was recorded at 10 degrees Celsius while the maximum is expected to be 21 degrees Celsius. In Hyderabad, the minimum temperature was 16 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 30 degrees. The city will have a partly cloudy sky with haze. Guwahati witnessed mist in the early morning with minimum temperatures recorded at 16 and maximum is expected to be around 27 degrees. And Gangtok will have partly cloudy sky with light rain. The minimum temperature in the city was 9 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 14 degrees Celsius.
Many parts of Odisha continue to experience fog during the morning hours. In capital Bhubaneswar, visibility was reduced to about 200 meters early this morning due to fog. A large part of the state has recorded a minimum temperature below 15 degrees Celsius during the last 24 hours.
Israel has established diplomatic relations with Bhutan. In a statement, Israeli Foreign Ministry said that the agreement follows several years of secret contacts between Israel and Bhutan with the aim of establishing relations. The Foreign Ministry said that a signing ceremony was held yesterday between the Israeli and Bhutanese ambassadors to India. Bhutan has full diplomatic ties with only 53 countries. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Nation remembers the brave soldiers who made supreme sacrifice during 2001 Parliament attack. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says country will always be thankful to those who give away their lives protecting our Parliament. Farmers delegation from Haryana meets Agriculture Minister and extends support to the new farm laws. National COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 94.93%. Polling concludes for the 6th phase of District Development Council elections in Jammu and Kashmir. And the US government gives nod to massive COVID-19 vaccination campaign from tomorrow. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the Midday News.